Hello and welcome to today's parent training video. My name is Jess Boudry. I am the principal at Sheboygan Falls Middle School. Today we're going to talk about the interventions and supports that we are providing throughout our building, what that looks like for your child, and how you can support at home. So today, like I said, we're going to talk a little bit about this EMLSS thing that we've been sending home in all of our newsletters and that maybe your students have heard us talk about. We're also going to dig into what tiered levels of supports mean, what that looks like in class time for your student and in SOAR time, as well as how that looks at home. What can you do to support your child at home? And then what are some ways that you can learn more about supporting them or more about the information and the different frameworks we utilize to support your children? All of it's focused on our vision, mission, and commitments here at Sheboygan Falls. We're focused on expecting the exceptional and setting up all students, the whole child, and supporting everyone throughout the process. So for starters, what is EMLSS? That stands for Equitable Multi-Level Systems of Support. This is something that has been pushed out by our Department of Public Instruction in Wisconsin. And the idea is that we are not just focusing on students who maybe have higher needs or students that maybe we're also focused on the students that may be just struggling with a certain skill or students that are gifted and are excelling beyond those expectations of their grade level. What does that look like and how can we support all students? So that means that we're providing resources, learning, instruction, research-based strategies for every learner, not just a select few. This over here is the framework that we are utilizing. That's, again, can be found on the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction website. Tony Evers, our governor, has put this out for us and has really spent time thinking about what does it look like for our students, our families, and our staff to work and support everyone. So as you can see here at the middle and at the heart of it is equity. We're providing opportunities for everyone. We're providing time. We're providing effort for all learners, including our staff, our families, our community members, and our students. So within our strong universal level of supports, what we're doing is we're collaborating, we're working together, we're using data, and we're using high quality instruction. And we're going to break this down a little bit more throughout the training video here. But as you can see, as we continue to improve and as we continue to look at where our students are at and trying to figure out how can we support them, these are other pieces that are also involved. Family and community engagement. Your engagement in the way you communicate with us and that you communicate with your child and are involved in our educational community matters, and we really want you to feel supported and that you feel knowledgeable about what's going on in your child's classroom. Positive culture, strong shared leadership, systemic implementation, and evidence-based practices are also key pieces of this system. All of them work together to create what we call tiered levels of support. So over here, we have a breakdown of how we look at the data from your students and your child's test scores. We look at different assessments that they're taking, and we analyze this data to figure out, okay, what kind of supports does your child need? And you'll hear me talk often about SOAR time. So in case you forgot or in case you missed it or if that was not communicated to you, SOAR time is that time built into the day where we're spending time enhancing their skills or enriching their skills. So those students who already have those skills and that they're at that high level and they're coming home to you and saying, I'm bored, we are focused on trying to figure out how can we support them in increasing those skills and improving those skills, as well as those students that are struggling saying, hey, I don't get this, I'm having a hard time. That's that time of the day that we're spending focused on those skills. So as you can see, we have tiered levels of support. We've got tier 1, tier 2, which is broken down into tier 2A and tier 2B, and then we also have tier 3. These up here detail different levels of performance on our testing and diagnostic results. So we have the state forward exam, we use Ames Web as our universal screener, and we also use Dreambox as a data collection informant for math and literacy. So let's talk a little bit more about those tiered levels of support. Tier 1, this is where all learners are getting support. So this is everybody gets it, does not matter what level they're at, everyone receives this type of support. Happens in the classroom, and it also happens in their SOAR time. This also includes that enrichment time, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But this is all supported through our universal design for learning and how we plan for every student, regardless of their needs, their preference, and what they are curious in. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. Tier 2 is broken down into Tier 2A and Tier 2B. Tier 2A is just those learners that need a little extra boost. So the ones that maybe we're not seeing a drastic drop in that skill, but we're seeing some deficiencies. So they need a little boost to improve that skill. This happens in classroom and SOAR time as well. And often you'll see this in a small group reteaching where teachers are pulling students into their classrooms in small groups when they're working to make sure that they have that grade level knowledge. Tier 2B also is where maybe we're focused on skills, but it's targeted on a specific skill. This happens mainly in SOAR time. And it is that skill-based instruction and focused on a deficit of a skill. So they're continuing to learn the grade level knowledge that they're getting, but they're also getting that extra support in where they've shown consistently that they're struggling. And then in that Tier 3, we have those learners that maybe need an individualized education plan. Oftentimes, that's referred to as an IEP in special education. This is happening in SOAR Plus, so where it's happening in SOAR, but maybe it might be a pullout. It could be within the classroom, it might be just outside in the neighborhood areas, but that might be a pullout dependent on the need. And this is where they're focused specifically on individual education goals, so IEP goals and the instruction that is focused for their needs. So that's a ton of info. This is a lot to look at. We're going to break it down for you to make it easier to understand. So Tier 1 support, going back to that very first one. This is where, again, we're looking at the forward exam, Ames Web, and Dreambox. These are our students that are above the 90th percentile for our enhancement opportunities. So when teachers say, what happens if my student already knows the information I'm teaching to everybody else? What are we going to do? And then in this area, this is at that above the 40th percentile, which is at or above grade level, where you're meeting the standards most of the time. This is where they're going to get that universal instructional support. That's where universal design for learning comes in. This is something our district has been committed to for many years now, and it is something that all teachers, all staff members embed into their planning. So what that looks like is teachers plan for every learner. Sometimes you'll hear the word differentiation. This is where you plan a lesson or a unit, or you design your classroom environment so that you're removing the barriers for students who may have those, and you're also allowing students to choose their own path on how they show they've got the knowledge that you're trying to see, or that we're trying to see here. So giving them the skills, teaching them the content, but then allowing them to show us that they've learned that in a way that makes sense. I know that seems like a lot, and that seems maybe kind of unconventional, but it's been proven through research to be very effective and to be more effective than some of our traditional learning styles and learning designs. So if you'd like to learn more about this, we have UDL at a glance. There's a video for you. You can click on the links here. We utilize the UDL guidelines. This is where we look at providing access to all learners, providing digital supports, providing opportunities for multiple means of representation in the ways that they're using speech to text, text to speech, they're using paper versions, they're utilizing AI, they're using all of these tools. And then I've also included a UDL Online Tools that CAST, which is the company that founded Universal Design for Learning, has provided. So these are all resources for you to check out if you'd like to. So that's Tier 1 support. Not only do all students get this in the classroom, but those students that are maybe gifted and that are seeking more, here's where they get a chance to really go out and find what they're passionate about, and teachers are challenging them in their classrooms. All right, moving on to Tier 2. Tier 2 is split into Tier A support and 2B support. 2A, we're looking at those students that fall in that 25th to 40th percentile, or maybe that one grade level below, and we're thinking about what if students aren't showing us the skills. The cool part about our tiered levels of support is that no matter where your student or your child falls, if they're in a Tier 2A, they're still receiving the Tier 1 support and the opportunities for enrichment. So no matter which level they go to, they're still receiving them. So if the child is getting a 2A support, they're still going to get the Tier 1. If a child receives 2B support, they're still receiving 2B, 2A, and Tier 1 supports at all times. So they're consistently getting what their classmates are getting, and then maybe getting an extra little boost here and there, which is what Tier 2A support looks like. So this is reviewing that content and reteaching. So if a student is not showing that they're understanding the content, teachers often will pull small groups within the classroom and they will reteach that skill or reteach that content so that students can relearn it and show in retakes or revisions or in other assignments that they have that skill and can show that grade level skill. So this could be additional curriculum lessons within Bridges, Wit and Wisdom, or even in Dreambox. Oftentimes those are all skill-based around our standards, and they can show, students can show during those small group 2A supports what that looks like, and they can show that they have demonstrated that skill. If students are needing a little bit more tiered supports, this goes into Tier 2B. Tier 2B support is more targeted on like a very specific skill. So when we think 2A, we're thinking maybe, okay, a student, we taught a lesson, it's continuing to build on skills that we've already had. It's got some content in it that maybe was new. We need to reteach it and give them another chance to show that they've understood that content. Students are consistently showing through assessments in Bridges and Wit and Wisdom, in Dreambox, even Ames Web, that they are struggling with a specific skill. Then we get a little bit more targeted, where our literacy specialist or our math specialist might have an opportunity to work with them. Teachers are still pulling, again, in small groups during class time for those small groups. This might even happen in SOAR. So SOAR time will be that time that teachers are pulling into small groups and are giving students opportunities to enhance those skills. This one, like I said, 2B is more skill-based, and those would be additional curriculum lessons as well. But they're also going to have some strategies that we track through Panorama, and that will be communicated home to families to know that we're looking at their assessment data. We're looking at the Wisconsin state standards and how they're performing on those standards. We're creating skill-based targeted interventions for those kids and those students, and we are working with them and pulling data to see their progress. So that's Tier 2A and Tier 2B. Our final tier is Tier 3. And in Tier 3, these are the students that fall below the 10th percentile within our testing and our assessment diagnostic pieces. So this is where that intensive intervention comes in. Oftentimes it's referred to special education, students that have individualized education plans. There's more information about what this looks like in our EMLSS system, as well as here in Sheboygan Falls. So I've included both of those resources. This will take you to the Sheboygan Falls website, and specifically our student services special education site that gives you more information. And this one will take you to this particular document that really breaks down how our equitable multi-level systems of supports and special education work together. So again, I want to reiterate, if your student and your child is receiving Tier 3 support, they will also receive Tier 2B, Tier 2A, and Tier 1 supports in addition to Tier 3. The main difference here is that Tier 3 might be that SOAR Plus, where they're getting pulled outside of the classroom to work on specific skills. However, if a child has a specific need in a content area, for example, math, they would not be pulled out of math class at the grade level to receive interventions in math. They would get that in addition to, which is where that SOAR Plus comes in. So I gave you a lot of information about all the supports and interventions we have available here at Sheboygan Falls Middle School. But some of the ways you can support your child at home. 1, have a conversation with them. Oftentimes, I know that they'll come home and say, we did nothing. But the idea is that you guys are having those open conversations. You're getting an opportunity to ask, what are they struggling with? What's too easy? What are they wishing that they were getting from their education? You may get the nothing, but you also might get some really great conversations. We also have a large resource bank of at-home instructional activities that can be found on your student's ClassLink, Canvas, all of those places that your child uses on the daily and that we've sent communication home about. So please reach out to your classroom teacher or your child's classroom teacher about further information on that, and they will get you specific links if your child can't put you in that direction. And last but not least, communicate with us, right? Communicate with me, communicate with our literacy and math specialists, communicate with our teachers and our staff. The more we know and the more we can partner together on within your child's educational experience, the better and more successful it's going to be. So, again, threw a lot of information at you about all of our supports and all of our opportunities for interventions within our school day and for our students. Here are all of those resources that I shared or that I had mentioned throughout the presentation today. And again, don't forget to check out our website for additional information. We've got, as you can see, you can check out the different departments in our district. There's families who want to come here and join us. We hope you do. There's different resources here, staff resources. So you can check out our school specifically by going to this drop-down menu right here and clicking the Sheboygan Falls Middle School, and you'll see everything that we have to offer you. So I really appreciate you joining me today and learning a little bit more about our interventions and supports here at Sheboygan Falls Middle School. At any time, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. We are here to help and would love to partner with you throughout your child's educational experience here at Sheboygan Falls Middle School. Thanks for joining. I hope you all have a great rest of your day.